Yes, the Casanovians. Yes, the Casanovians. All right, boys, we're back in Bangkok and had such a great weekend, unreal weekend, heavy weekend, exciting weekend, good weekend. Anyway, back in Bangkok, gonna hit you boys with a live stream, and I wanted to dedicate this one to solo cold approach. Okay, so if you're in that bracket of people who follow my content and you've still done less than 100 direct cold approaches, then I'm making this video for you. All right, if you're someone who's already going out there and you can approach, you're having conversations, you might find value in this video. Reiteration is consolidation. I find that oftentimes we are products of the lessons that we forgot as opposed to what we remember. So this might be a perfect gentle refresh, but really this is dedicated to the beginners, guys who maybe you've just stumbled across my videos, maybe you've seen in-field videos of me going out there and approaching, and you might be thinking to yourself, how is he able to do this? Like maybe you've gone out there and you've tried it, maybe you ended up walking around the streets for 5 hours talking to nobody. Maybe you saw women who you wanted to approach, but you got into your head, you felt paralyzed to the sport, you had those voices bamboozling your mind, and then you got home, you felt deflated. Maybe you started watching some black pill content, and now you're starting to subscribe to the belief that, oh, it's all about looks, it's all about having a symmetrical face or having a fucking six-pack and making 10 figures a year. All this garbage. So what I'm going to do in this stream is I'm just going to give you 7 tried and tested principles that will make solo cold approach a lot easier for you. So let's just kick off. The first and probably the most important is to set a clear intention. Okay, imagine you wanted to build a better body, and imagine on day 1 you rock up to the gym and you've got no idea what body part you're going to be hitting that day. Yeah, you're just feeling as aimless as a bubble, walking around, looking at the different machines. Maybe you go over to the free weight section, like, oh, maybe I should do chest today. Then maybe you see a guy with a massive back, and you're like, nah, you know what, I'll hit back. And then you see a guy with gargantuan quads, and you're like, you know what, I want to become Quadzilla, I'll do legs instead. And you actually spend the entire gym session fluctuating between exercises, and you're not able to dedicate the true necessary intensity to a particular body part. Okay, so you don't want to go out onto the streets without a plan. You don't want to rock up to the gym not knowing what exercises you're going to be doing, for how many sets, how many reps, how much rest are you going to spend in between each set. Okay, so intention is the precursor to creation. Right? You ain't just going to start building a skyscraper without first planning it and getting the foundations in place. If you look around, everything that we see today, like even all these videos, all these buildings out here, yeah? All them buildings, bottle of water, this shirt, these sunglasses, it all started with an idea, okay? That idea, that intention is so important, because most guys who try and learn cold approach, they're living like accidents, right? They watch a couple of videos, think, right, I'll go out, I'll try this, but they don't have the foundations in place because they're going out there without a plan. So here's what I want you to do. Dedicate one day this week, right? First of all, when are you going to go out? And then where are you going to go to? For how long are you going to go out, and how many approaches are you going to do? So because I'm an exceptionally generous individual, I'm just going to give you a clear roadmap that anybody can follow to start getting their first points on the board. So set the intention. This coming Saturday, you are going to go out into your city centre at 1 p.m. and you're going to aim to do 3 direct cold approaches in 30 minutes. That is a tried and tested formula that you can just copy to get those points on the board. Now listen to the words that I'm using. It's hyper specific. So let's say I'm living in London right now. I would say to myself, I will go to Liverpool Street Station at 1 p.m. I will then give myself 30 minutes to do 3 direct cold approaches. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, a direct cold approach is simply going over to a woman who you don't know and giving her a compliment. okay? That's all you're gonna do. Just go over to 3 women, moderately attractive. They don't need to be absolute stunners if you're just getting started. And set the intention to do 3 of those in 30 minutes, okay? So let's imagine you're at Liverpool Street Station. Maybe you've got this live stream in your ear. You're listening to my melodic, mellifluous voice coming in your ear. And let's imagine you're at Liverpool Street Station. It's 1 p.m. Right, you've got 30 minutes. Let's get 3 direct call approaches done. And what's so important here is you honor the time limit more than the number of approaches. This is what's going to stop you walking around for hours and hours and hours. It's very similar to going to the gym. Yeah, if I give myself 30 minutes to do an exercise, if I give myself 30 minutes to do a workout, I'll take 30 minutes. But if I'm going to the gym with no plan, I might be in that gym for 2 hours unnecessarily. I actually find the best workouts for about 45 minutes. Go hard and then go home. But that time limit is so important because it's going to prioritize efficiency, okay? When it comes to daytime call approach, I'm all about efficiency. The way that I've carefully crafted my coaching program is because I work with high-achieving individuals. So I've worked with doctors, lawyers, surgeons. I work with entrepreneurs, digital nomads, high-achieving, busy city workers. These guys don't have time to piss away, walking around for 5 hours. They want efficiency. So having this time limit is important. So you'll prioritize the efficiency, you go hard, and then you go home. If those 30 minutes have passed and you've not done any approaches, forget about it. Get on with the rest of your day. Do something else. Perhaps go to the gym, get a workout in, go do some hill sprints. Go for a walk in a non-approachy type of way. Just enjoy being alive and taking the fucking sights and stuff. The worst thing you can do is get to the end of those 30 minutes, not do any approaches, and then say, right, now I'll do another 30 minutes. Because most likely you're not going to do any approaches that day because you've most likely already bailed and bottled approaches that you could have done. So 1 p.m. this Saturday, give yourself 30 minutes, 3 direct call approaches. Once that time limit is finished, you can even set an alarm on your phone if you want to. Don't put your phone in your pocket though. I always see people put their phones in their pockets, so it's like right next to the crotch area. Dude, that shit is not healthy for you. Do not put your phone near your balls, right? Like the electromagnetic rays, whatever they are, they will interfere with your ball sack, and later down the line, you might run into some difficulty. So never put your phone in your pocket. I always see people doing that. You heard it here first, or maybe you didn't. That's just like a little aside. Don't put your phone in your pocket because that's going to frazzle your bollocks. You don't want that, man. The 3 direct call approaches, 30 minutes. Let's say you get to the end of the 30 minutes and you've done 1. Great, well done. You've done 1 direct call approach, amazing. The next time you go out, aim to do, set the intention to do 3 again, yeah? But again, the time limit is so important. I see it time and time again. Oh, Kristian, I went out today. I was walking around for 2 hours, didn't speak to anybody. Oh, I'm not sure if call approach works. It's like, dude, call approach works as long as you do. I need you to push yourself. I need you to be strict with yourself. Set that intention and then do your best to align your actions with your ambitions. Dude, this is probably the best piece of advice that I can give you in regards to solo daytime cold approach when it's just you. It's just you on your own, right? You've got no wings, you've got no coach. It's just you holding yourself accountable. That time limit will help to hold you accountable and make sure you're not just pissing your time away. Again, efficiency, right? We're learning day game. We're not becoming day gamers, right? I don't want anybody who watches these streams, follows my content online, to be walking around for 5 hours every Saturday, every Sunday. I think that is just loser mentality. If that's all you're doing, if all that is occupying your life is day game, call approach, right? You want to learn the skill so you can forget about the skill, right? You go hard, you go home, you get 100 direct call approaches done as soon as possible, and then you integrate this skill into your busy lifestyle. So then you can approach an autopilot, then you can get dates on demand. It becomes something you are rather than something that you do. But the key is to start off with those short blocks of intensity, and then you can just do that over the weeks. But I think for me, 30 minutes is a sweet spot. You can aim to do 5 in 45 minutes. I think if you're out for any longer than 1 hour, it starts to become diminishing returns. Like going out for a monster 5-hour session yeah, it might be cool at the start, just like a little bit of novelty to push yourself. But for me, my best approaches were always in that first 45-minute window. So I prioritize that for myself. And I find that's true with a lot of the guys who I coach one-on-one. I think if you've been out for any longer than 2 hours, you are going to start to feel it, like energetically. It's a workout, right? Like if you're doing like 10, 20 approaches and you're actually trying to focus on quality, there will get to a point when your energy starts to dissipate. So just be wary about that. The next thing that I've got like a little list here. It's in red writing, so I can see it like really clearly. The next principle is to always be warming up. Okay, so let's say you've set the intention to go out this Saturday, 1 p.m, Liverpool Street Station. On your way to Liverpool Street Station, however you get in there, maybe you're walking there, maybe you're getting a bus there, maybe you're getting the tube there, fucking UFO in it there, however you get in there, Uber boat, always be warming up. Okay, so this is like, I call it pre-gaming, right? It's like the session before the session, right? So before you've even started doing your direct call approaches, just start speaking to people. Like, one of the easiest things that I can say to you is as soon as you leave the house, just say hello to the first person that walks past you. Might be a man, might be a woman, might be fucking pigeon. Just start getting your vocal cords firing, right? Because that will set the precedent for how the rest of this social activity will continue. In fact, let me give you some insider knowledge from my private community, the Entourage. So if you don't know what the Entourage is, it's my private community for guys who want to get this skill set down in the fastest possible time, and they also want to be connected with other like-minded guys. It can be very difficult in this space to find good, solid guys who you can go out there, who you can wing with, who you can cold approach with, who you can talk about life, business, philosophy, art with. So my private community, the Entourage, I assemble like-minded, radically ambitious action takers, and we assemble together, and it's a merry, merry time. So one of our guys in the Entourage, he's actually in the Netherlands, and what he does, and I actually love this, is he sets his intention whilst he's out there in the field, okay? So I've just said to you, set the intention to do 3 direct call approaches this Saturday, right? That's fine, that works if you're a complete beginner. What this guy does, the guy inside the Entourage does, is he'll actually go to a coffee shop and he'll set his intentions whilst he's outside. So it's actually it feels a lot easier to set intention while you're in the comfort of your home, especially if you're setting those intentions at nighttime when everything is like, you can't do any daytime call approach when it's like 10 p.m, right? So what our guy inside the Entourage does is he actually goes to a coffee shop and he sets out his intentions for that specific day whilst he's in the coffee shop. So in the coffee shop, he might set the intention to approach one girl inside the coffee shop before he leaves. Or maybe he sets the intention to do 5 direct call approaches in 45 minutes. And one of those approaches has to be like a girl who's with her friends. Like, this will, from what I've found anyway, this allows your intention to carry greater emotional weight. And then he sends a message into our private WhatsApp group which lays out his intention for the day, and then we can hold him accountable inside the Entourage. So you can set your intention for the day whilst you're actually out there in the field. Yeah, so maybe you go out on Saturday and you set the intention to do 3 direct call approaches outside Liverpool Street Station, but you set that intention whilst you're out there in the field, and therefore it makes it more likely for you to actually do it. That's just like some insider knowledge that I found can help, because what I found to be true is a lot of guys will set those intentions, let's say on a Monday evening, right? Maybe you've watched this live stream on a Monday evening, and then when Saturday rolls around, it feels like a distant memory. You're like, oh shit, I set that intention, now I have to do it. And it's like you don't really have the same enthusiasm as you did on the Monday. So that can be useful as well, just to make sure you actually do it. If you've got people to hold you accountable, that's gonna make it easier as well. I think it's like that healthy male competition, right? No one wants to be seen as a pussy. But always be warming up. So as soon as you leave the house, just start making eye contact with people. Just start saying hello, depending on what time of the day it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Not sure why you're doing daytime call approach at night, but like just start getting those vocal cords firing. Start becoming an active player rather than a static spectator. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to start experiencing success in advance because you've already proved to yourself you can effectively open people, making eye contact, smiling. Maybe like as you're walking past people on the streets, you could just be dishing out some flyby compliment as people are walking past you. And then you don't even need to worry about getting them to stop. So like you might just be like walking along a little boulevard. And you might be like, I don't know, walk past a guy who's got some breathtakingly beautiful trainers. But bro, those trainers are unreal. Where'd you get them? Oh, Sports Direct. Nice. Might go and get myself a pair. Cool. Have a good day, yeah? And maybe an old lady walks past you and you're like, oi, amazing walking stick. You must be a pimp. How much you charging? I don't actually say that. Maybe, I mean, to be fair, if you're in the north of England, like I often feel blessed from the place that I was brought up. Because in the north of England, it feels more socially acceptable, right? Like we were kind of like talking to people from an early age, and it's kind of like a little bit more normalized. London, people can be a little bit more frosty, but the way that I see it is like, I think we often receive what we give out there. Do you know what I mean? So if your energy's on point and you're going out there purely to give and just being that light in people's lives, it's like, you look beautiful, you look great, bro, nice trainers. Do you know what I mean? It's like that energy is infectious. It's like, it's not game anymore, right? You're just talking to people. That's all it is, right? It's just a transfer of feel-good energy, right? It's a transfer of certainty, meaning that you're going out there, you like yourself, you're purely going out there to give. Like, how can I make the world a better place today? And you're just dishing out those compliments, dishing out those invitations. But I think that's super useful, right? So like as you're walking to the approach location, don't just be like listening to some podcast or like listening to music. I mean, you can do, but I think you're far better off ditching those distractions and just start as you mean to go on, right? So making eye contact, complimenting people. If compliments feel too much right now, just say hello. Just say hello with a smile on your face, because I guarantee once you've done that a few times, you are going to start to feel more in the zone, right? I think what's really crucial to understand here is you don't need to feel social to have a conversation, because belief follows action, right? You don't need to feel social to have a conversation. You simply need to start being social. You prioritize the behavior over the belief, and then the belief will catch up through the actions that you take. So again, you do not need to feel social to have a conversation. Remind yourself, the way you start is not the way that you finish. Let's say you leave your house at 12:30, you're walking to Liverpool Street Station in London, you've got those voices going through your head, in your mind you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to push past this resistance, I am destined to be a lonely, desperate incel for the rest of my life, no woman is ever going to want me. Then you just start saying those good mornings, you have a smile on your face, you realize the world is not a scary place, and then you go, you do your session. Let's say you do 2 direct call approaches in 30 minutes. By the end of this whole adventure, you're going to feel like a completely different person. And you're going to look back at the version of yourself who tentatively stepped out of his house at 12 p.m. And you're going to think, whoa, I feel a lot different now. I feel a lot lighter. I feel less in my head. I actually enjoyed this. It's not as bad as I thought. Oh, maybe I could do it again another day, right? And then for that day, your energy is just palpable. You just feel like a different person, right? You're not ruminating in your own egoic self-absorption anymore. You've ascended the totem pole of frequency. Now you're in that high frequency state. And the beautiful thing about daytime call approach is it spills over to the rest of your life, to the rest of your day. So for the rest of that day, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to feel more open. All of those anxieties, all of that negativity, like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be able to afford my rent this month. I wonder if I'm going to be able to, oh, I've got a date lined up later on. Oh, I wonder how that date's going to go. Oh, I've got a social gathering later on. Like all these things that historically would have worried you, once you've done the discipline of day game, it's like you penetrate through all that bullshit, you rise up the ladder of frequency, and it's like now you can now you can handle all of those problems because you're operating from a different place now. It's like you're able to get these divine downloads, like having answers to problems that weren't currently available when you're operating in this low frequency state. So yeah, inside the entourage, we like to describe daytime cold approach as resistance training for the rest of your social life, okay? So always be warming up. Just say hello to the first person who you see when you go out your house, and then aim to do your 3 direct call approaches in 30 minutes. Go hard, and then go home. The third principle is stick to the 3-strike rule, okay? So let's imagine in that block of 30 minutes, let's imagine you've let 3 opportunities slide, okay? So you've said to yourself, I'm gonna do 3 direct call approaches in 30 minutes. Let's say within the first 10 minutes, you've seen 3 women who you could have approached, but you bottled every single one of them. What I like to say to my guys is if you go out there on your own and you've bottled 3 quality approaches that you could have done, if you've done that 3 times, forget about it. It doesn't matter if you've been out there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You'll start to get stuck in your head, and then you'll start to experience failure in advance. And the approach, even if you force yourself into an approach because it's coming from a place of fear, like, oh, I need to do this because I said that I'd do it, the approach is going to be shit, and you're probably not going to get a lot out of it, and you're probably going to weird the girl out as well because she can feel this like desperate, needy energy from you. So follow the 3-strike rule. It's like playing a video game, right? You try and complete the level 3 times, and let's say you quote unquote fail 3 times. Just forget about it. Get on with the rest of your day. Do something else. You're probably not going to do any approaches that day. And even if you do some approaches, they're probably going to be terrible. So you're better off conserving your energy, hitting it a different day, and being stricter with yourself the next time, and maybe having some accountability anchors in there to make sure you actually do. I'm going to talk more about accountability later on. So that 3-strike rule is so important. Again, this is going to help prioritize that overall efficiency, just to make sure you're not walking around getting depressed in your city for 5 hours and then going home and crying about it. So yeah, 3-strike rule. If you've let 3 quality opportunities go, forget about it, get on with the rest of your day. Principle number 4, this is really, really useful, is to just focus on the open, okay? That's all you need to do. If you're a complete beginner to this, you're probably getting overwhelmed at the moment by all of the theory and information overload out there, okay? Depending on what school of thought you're currently consuming, you're either thinking, oh shit, I need to be a high value man. It's all about looks, money, status. If you're following a lot of outdated pickup content, then you're probably thinking, oh shit, I need to vibe, I need to stack, push, pull, neg, has she hooked yet? And then you just think way too many steps ahead, okay? Your mind is like a balloon, and there's just way too much inside of it. You just need to focus on the open, right? Just focus on the first 3 seconds of your approach. If you've downloaded my free course, Conversation Killer, we talk about how to best optimize for the first 3 seconds. If you're not downloaded that course, it's a completely free course. All my courses are free. I'll link it in the description once this live stream is finished. But just focus on the open, right? I'm doing my best here to just make this as stupidly simple for you as possible, all right? So you've got your intention, you know when you're going out, you're aiming to do 3 direct cold approaches in 30 minutes. As you're walking to the daytime venue, you're saying hello, you're getting yourself socially lubricated. And then when you do see that woman who you want to talk to, best advice I can give you, just say fuck it and start moving, right? Just say fuck it and start moving. Because what usually happens is fight, flight, or freeze. Usually what happens when a complete beginner tries to call approach on his own and he sees a girl, he'll feel frozen to the spot. And the longer you feel frozen to the spot, the less likely you are to actually do the approach, okay? Because it's the avoidance which amplifies your anxiety. Action alleviates it. So you see that girl, just say fuck it and just let your legs start carrying you. Because as soon as you're in motion, you will feel the anxiety start to dissipate, and it'll actually get transmuted into excitement. So I could talk a lot more about the inner game side of things. I do that a lot on my live streams, but on like a really basic principle. Whenever you feel anxiety, just tell yourself you're excited. Just tell yourself you're excited. Just tell yourself, oh my God, here's my opportunity. Here's an amazing girl. I get to go over and approach her. Dude, I'm so fucking excited right now. And literally just say that as you're walking. Because if you stay paralyzed to the spot and you're looking around, you're like, oh, are people going to see me? Oh, has she got a boyfriend? Oh, she looks a bit busy. She looks a bit bitchy. Oh, I'm not sure about this. Maybe I need more theory. You're not going to do it. So you see the girl, you say, fuck it, boom, and you just start moving. So when I'm with my guys and I'm working with them one-on-one, I'm just giving them that gentle push, okay? Because I've got a very nuanced understanding about social dynamics. I understand people extremely well for a multitude of reasons, which I've discussed in other live streams. And usually when I'm working with my guys, I know exactly what they need. Sometimes they just need a word. Sometimes they do need a gentle push. Sometimes they need me to walk with them. Giving yourself that push, just let your legs carry you, right? Just start walking over. Just start walking. And then as soon as you are in distance, let's say this is me, let's say this is the woman. Sorry, I've not spunked in this yet. All right, this is me, and let's say the woman is like here. All you're gonna do is just say, excuse me, right? You don't even need to worry about, oh, how am I gonna get her to stop? Do I need to run around the side? Do I need to walk all suave? Do I need to come in from an angle, be like, hey baby? You just get rid of all of this bollocks, right? Forget about all this bullshit. You just need to walk over and say, excuse me. That's all you need to do. Forget about push, pull, vibe, stack. Be a high value man. Oh, I need to become a pickup artist. Learn all these lines and routines. No, you're just insecure, and that's okay. We're all insecure. Don't worry about it. But all I need you to do is just walk, right? Walk over, say, excuse me, because as soon as you said, excuse me, you've got her attention. She's going to swivel around and think, what does this moderately attractive man want to say to me? Then you're going to say something, right? So you might as well give her a compliment at that point, right? Because usually she knows why you're there anyway. It's like, oh, excuse me, where's Starbucks? She knows you don't give a fuck where Starbucks is, right? You've got a phone. You can find that out for yourself. Just, you've made that effort to go over. You've set your intention. You've done your fucking red light therapy. You've set your whatever. You've done this and done that. Just say she looks great. Just say, listen, I saw you, had to say, you look amazing. That's it, right? That's all you need to do. Again, we say it all the time. You view the rep as the reward, right? That's all you need to do. You view the rep as the reward. You got a smile on your face. The only intention is to leave that woman better than you found her, right? No one's allergic to a compliment. Remember that. You would be doing this woman a disservice if you didn't drag yourself over there and declare your desire in a non-needy way. Oftentimes, when we're out there in the field, we have all of the emphasis is on ourselves, how we feel, how insecure we are right now. Maybe your mind is going back to toxic relationships you've had and you're thinking, oh, is this going to be another woman who rejects me? And oh, I'm just desperate to receive love from the feminine. It's the excess importance that you're placing onto the receival of a particular outcome, which castrates you of your confidence, right? Excess importance. This is actually the thing which keeps most people stuck in life. It's the excess importance that they place on things. Oh, I really hope my flight isn't delayed. I really hope this woman likes me. I really hope I make 10K this month. Otherwise, I'm an unlovable piece of shit. Like, when you actually just learn to go with the flow and you're not needy for any particular outcome and you're action focused rather than outcome dependent, that's when you win the game. If you boys have not started reading Reality Transurfing yet, it's probably the best book that I can recommend. I don't have an affiliate link. I won't get 20 pence if you click the link below. I don't even have a link below anyway. But Reality Transurfing, you can get the book for free on Spotify. I think you have to have Spotify Premium, but what is that, like fucking $10? So Reality Transurfing, it's an incredible book. I guarantee no one's going to read it because it's quite a meaty text. You need to have a fair bit of patience. So if you've got your TikTok lizard brain that can't comprehend anything longer than 10 seconds, then you're most likely not going to read it. But for guys who are actually serious about elevating themselves financially, spiritually, emotionally, socially, romantically, I believe Reality Transurfing is the only book that you actually need to read. If you've read it from cover to cover, that is a game-changing piece of literature, and it talks a lot about placing excess importance, right? So if we can remove importance, because you don't have control over how that woman reacts to you. You can influence it by being a generally happy-go-lucky chap and having a smile on your face and dressing well and not smelling like Lynx deodorant. But you don't know where she's at in the moment. You don't know what sort of day she's having. You don't know if she just had like a heated argument with a family member. She might have just broke up with a Bulgarian dominatrix lover. So she might not be in the best of moods. So you don't know. But all you can focus on is the action. And anything that happens after that initial compliment is a bonus, especially if you've not done 100 direct call approaches yet. Those first 100, it's purely points on the board. It's purely batting practice. They don't even count. It's just to get skin in the game. This is how you go from a 0 to a 1. It's getting 100 direct call approaches done ASAP. And you'll feel like a completely different social weapon after those first 100. To be honest, you'll feel like a different guy after doing that first one, right? I remember doing my first direct call approach in Leeds city centre during the pandemic on the 4th of July 2020. And if it hadn't have been for that first approach, none of this would have happened. I never would have started this YouTube channel. I never would have turned cold approach into my full-time living. I never would have created my private network, the Entourage. I never would have unlocked this fully independent international lifestyle. None of this would have happened, right? So I've always had that future projection mindset. It's not who you are today, it's who you're going to be. And it's the compounding of the actions that you take. So by you going out today, reminding yourself no one's allergic to a compliment, viewing the rep as a reward, going out there purely to give, then your actions will compound over time. And 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the line, you're going to be a completely different person. And your friends are going to look at you thinking, wow, you've changed. And you're going to be like, yeah, and you haven't, right? So you're probably going to want to find new friends, guys who are on the same frequency as you. But that's so important. Like that, everything that we spoke about there, that fight, flight, freeze, you see the girl, you say, fuck it. You start walking over, you let your legs do the walking, your mouth do the talking, and whatever else, do the whatever else in. Then you're going to be in a good place, okay? So that's really useful so far, really, really useful. Again, reiteration is consolidation. If you've heard this stuff before, that's cool. If you get offended by hearing the same information twice, then sort out your first world problems. Let's go for number 5. This is a good one. So before I spoke about accountability, drop the live stream a like, by the way, if you're enjoying this free, juicy, mellifluous content. We spoke about having accountability, right? So imagine going to the gym. We'll use a gym analogy again because it's easy. Going to the gym, training on your own, that's fine. But going to the gym with a friend who's also dedicated to getting a better body, that's great. Now you've got that healthy male competition. And also, it's not just having the accountability for when you're in the field, it's the pre-approach phase as well, right? So for example, for me, if I say to one of my friends, hey dude, let's go to the gym at 5 a.m. tomorrow, now I'm accountable for actually turning up, right? So I don't want to be that guy who bails on his friend after setting that intention. So that accountability, having an accountability partner, it's enough to get you into the field. What's the quote? 80% of success is just showing up. I think for a lot of guys, just getting yourself into the place of approach, that's like the whole thing right there. Like if you set the intention to do your approaches outside Liverpool Street Station, a big part of the battle is just getting to Liverpool Street Station. So if you've got another guy in your city who you can approach with and you set an intention to meet outside Liverpool Street Station at, say, 12:50, I don't know, maybe you want to shake hands and get a coffee together. Now you've got accountability, right? Now you've got somebody in your corner who is not going to let you get away with bailing, right? And I found, for me anyway, when we set promises to other guys, for me, I'm way more likely to follow through on that because I don't want to be seen as a pussy. I don't want to be seen as being not dependable. It just it holds me accountable, right? So having an accountability partner, it might not have somebody in your city who you can go out and approach with, but let's say you've got a really trusted ally in your social circle. Let's say your name is Sam, and let's say your mate's name is Simon, right? So Simon might not be into daytime call approach, but Simon might really like you as an individual, and you've got a tight bond together, right? You trust each other. So Sam can say to Simon, hey, listen, Simon, I know you're not into all this world of daytime call approach, but I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos and I really view this as something that I want to do and I want to use it as a way to improve myself. So listen, you don't have to come out with me, but just to let you know, I'm going to plan on going to Liverpool Street Station, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to do my 3 direct approaches. I'll tell you once I've done it. So now you've got accountability, right? You don't even need to have another guy who's on the cold approach wave. You just need to have some healthy male accountability. And then if Simon's a good friend, he'll check in with you, be like, hey, did you do it? How was it? Let me know if you need anything, yada, yada, yada. So that accountability is really useful. And then if you want accountability on steroids, if you do have a friend who you go out into your city and you wing together, then what you can do is you can create some financial incentive, okay? So let's say Sam and Simon go out to call approach together on a busy Saturday in East London. And let's say both of them make the pact that they're going to do 3 direct call approaches in 30 minutes. And then the deal is, if either of them doesn't do the approaches, they have to give the other one £20, or they have to buy the guy, they have to buy a drink, or they have to buy a coffee, or they have to buy Simon a new set of Beats, or a new set of condoms, or a new giraffe onesie. Like, if you've got some wager on it, it actually makes it more fun. It gamifies it, because it's like, oh fuck, I don't want to buy this fucker a giraffe onesie, so I'm going to go in for those approaches. And you've got that financial incentive as well, right? So this is why when my guys work with me one-on-one, I tick all of these boxes. I give everything that we've discussed here, I just give guys the whole thing, right? So they pay me money. So now they've got financial accountability. They've got me with them, and we're doing the approaches. I'm pushing them into the approaches. I'm giving them feedback. They don't have a choice but to succeed, because they've got that accountability. They've got financial accountability. They've got emotional accountability. And also they've got accountability from the rest of my private network, the Entourage. So this is why my guys get the results that they do, because I've made my program so good, it would be unreasonable for you not to succeed. So if you're curious about the results that I get from my guys, description, there's interviews, there's testimonials. You can go onto my website, you can see the guys who I work with, and you can see all those testimonies for yourself. Evidence has got the loudest voice. I'm not taking on any more coaching clients until early 2025. So if you're enjoying the stream, drop it a like, consider subscribing. I don't have anything to sell you right now. This is just value galore. Value galore. So that accountability element is so crucial, yeah? Because you're just going out there on your own, you've got no one to hold you accountable. Maybe you'll do it, maybe you won't do it. And then even if you bail, you've got no one to actually know about it. Like, you'll know about it, but it's different, right? It's just like going to the gym. It's like you've got that accountability from the guy who's there with you. So finding ways to actually create this accountability, that's important. That'll make sure you can actually start approaching and also be consistent with the approaching as well. Number 6. Celebrate every approach as if you've just won $1 million, right? Celebrate every approach as though you've just won $1 million. So it's easy when you're going out there and approaching not to celebrate the wins along the way, right? So you might hear me say, okay, it takes 100 direct call approaches to start to develop proficiency. So you might start to have this conditional sense of fulfillment and think, you can't start celebrating until you've done 100 direct call approaches. No, celebrate the living shit out of everything that you do, right? Especially when you've done approaches. If you've never done a direct call approach in your life and you go out today and you do your first one, I want you to celebrate it like you've just won $1 million, right? Because what that is going to do is it's going to raise your overall frequency. It's going to raise your state, and you're going to feel more excited to do more. Okay, and a really great hack that I can give you, this is straight from reality transurfing, I spoke about in previous live streams, is everything that is remotely positive that happens in your life, celebrate it, right? Because we are so fixated on negatives that we forget to celebrate the positives. So if it's a sunny day outside, celebrate it. If the lift is right there when you get into your apartment, celebrate it. If you've woke up and you're happy and you're healthy and you're horny, celebrate it. If you've got somewhere to live, celebrate it. If you're watching this live stream, celebrate it. You've got internet connection. Dude, that's so fucking cool. I've got internet today. How amazing is that? You turn the tap on, you've got running water. It's like, fuck yes, running water. Celebrate anything which is remotely positive. Celebrate it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to develop this mystical charisma, this mystical charm where you're going to compel people as soon as you've met them. And people are not going to understand what your secret is. The secret is simple. The secret is you are finding any and every excuse to be irrationally joyful, right? And all of this is going to compound. And you're just going to have this mystical confidence, charisma, where nothing phases you anymore. You're looking for the positives in every single thing. It's not woo-woo, it's not fluffy. It fucking works. I used to be a very negative person. Everything that negative that happened, I would stick to it like sellotape. I would watch the news all the time. I'd be programmed into a state of fear. All my family are negative people. They feed more negativity into me. I come to Thailand. I get a message from one of my family members being like, "Oh, Kristian, I just heard 6 people died in Thailand." I'm like, I don't want that parasitical toxicity in my life, right? This is how losers think. Right, this like lower vibrational energy of people who are addicted to the news, addicted to gossip, always looking for the negative in everything. And then they wonder why they've got atrocious dating lives, right? The thing that I make you boys aware, you don't have dating problems, you have personal problems, and your personal problems manifest themselves into dating problems. So if you're anything like I used to be, ruminating in constant negativity, start having irrational joy for all of the little things you've got to be positive about, especially when you start approaching, right? So if you've done an approach today, celebrate it like you've just won $1 million. You do another approach. Even if the approach is objectively shit. Let's say the girl doesn't stop, or let's say she gives you a bitchy response, or let's say that something happened which doesn't fit into the plan that you had. Celebrate it anyway. It's like Shakespeare said, nothing is good nor bad, it's the thinking that makes it so. Perception's reality. Even if it's not true, we make it true by believing in it. As soon as you understand nothing is real, as soon as you understand we're living in this simulation where everything is about interpretation, right? It's all interpretation. It's how you decide to perceive it. That's what is true, right? There is no objective truth. It's whatever lens you're looking at it through. So if you decide today is going to be the best day of your fucking life, if you decide to find the positives in every single thing that you do, then that's a reality that is going to open up to you. So celebrate every approach like you've won $1 million. And that is going to give you this palpable, energetic aura. People are going to want to be attracted to you. Opportunities will come more effortlessly. You'll find social situations a lot more easy because people just want to be your friend. And then attracting women will feel as natural as drinking water. But it's a practice, right? It's not just like a one and done type of thing. We become what we practice. So constantly have the discipline to have irrational joy. And this is something that I'm still working on as well, because I will often slip into habitual negative thought patterns, but then I get myself back, get myself centered. I'm like, nah, we have irrational joy. We've got 1,000,001 reasons to be negative. We've also got 1,000,001 reasons to be positive. So that's just important. And then the final thing, very much like this live stream, is end on a high. Okay, end on a high. This is so crucial. All right, so let's say you go out and you've set the intention to do 3 direct call approaches, and let's say you've done none. Right, let's just say you've done none. Let's say it's been the most shambolic session you could have imagined. Let's say you've let 3 opportunities slide, and let's say you're pretty much done for today. Right, you're done for the day. You're not going to do any direct approaches. I still want you to end on a high, okay? So if that is your situation, you don't need to do an approach per se, but just smile at somebody. Just say good morning. You could even do a flyby compliment as you're walking to get the bus or get the tube. Just do something that makes you feel good in the field at the end of that session. Otherwise, you're going to carry that negative energy into the rest of your day. So let's say you've gone out, you tried to do 3 approaches, you didn't do any approaches, but let's say a hashtag milfshake is walking past you, right? Just make eye contact with her and just say, hello, just that, right? And just doing that is enough to change your energetic level, and you will feel better. That's like the extreme example of like not doing anything, right? But let's say you've gone out and you've done 1 direct call approach in 30 minutes, and let's say you bottle 2 more opportunities, fine. What I would suggest is, again, just find some middle-aged lady, some hashtag milfshake, right? It might not be a woman that you necessarily want to make your next girlfriend, but you can use like older women to get your state, to get your frequency, to increase your overall aura, and end that session on a high, okay? Because if you end on a high, so let's say you go over to a middle-aged woman who's like fucking waiting, I don't know, she's got like Asda carrier bag, she's waiting for a train, just go over and just be like, hey, listen, you look fucking amazing. You don't need to say fucking, but you just like, you listen, you look incredible. I just want to say that. Have a good day, right? Like no attachment to any outcome whatsoever. You just want to end on a high, right? End on a high. That might even be like for you, ending on a high might be pulling your phone out and just recording a 30-second video of yourself in public. That might feel scary for you. Just do something that makes you feel good whilst you're out there in the field. Because if you can end on a high, it's going to make you more excited to want to go out and do it again, all right? The last thing that I want you to do is go out, have a terrible session, and then go home feeling deflated, because then that's how people give up and they fall into these negative rabbit holes. Oh, it's all about looks, it's all about money, it's all about status, I'm not tall enough, I'm not ripped enough, I'm not rich enough. No, you're just a crushingly cruel commentator of yourself. Again, this is an internal game that we're playing, right? Internal state is external reality. You'll find as you go on your own journey, your own personal renaissance, it's 93% in the game, right? It's not what you say, it's not how you say it, it's who you are when you say it. We want to be looking after our internal state like it's sacred, right? So end on a high. End on a high. And the easiest way to end on a high, in my experience, when I was first learning this skill set during the pandemic in Leeds, is just complimenting older women, right? In my experience, the hashtag milkshakes, they're perfect to start your cold approach journey because they've got skin in the game. They don't take themselves too seriously. I always found older women to be easier to approach. I had some of my best conversations with older women. If you type in Kristian Casanova, older women, I think I was the first person in the cold approach niche to actually make MILF, like proper dedicated MILF content. Because when I first stumbled into the industry, it was all about, oh no, bro, good game is all about getting women who are younger and hotter than you. And I was like, well, for me, good game is just getting what you want. And I found that the numbers don't lie. Like my highest performing videos are MILF videos, right? So what that speaks to is that there is a demand out there. Guys like the idea of playing out that mummy fantasy or like having an older woman in their lives. Like, I think it's hot, I think it's cool. So yeah, end on a high. Like, just use the older women to get your state up. And a rising tide lifts all the boats, right? She might have not been complimented in the past 22 and a half years. So if you're this young, moderately attractive whippersnapper who goes over and is like, hey, you look amazing. She's like, oh my God, call me mummy. And then, you know, you might have a fucking milkshake relationship on hand. But end on a high, right? End on a high. That's probably the best way to end your session, the best way to end this live stream as well. I honestly hope that this has been useful for you. Like I say, if you want to skip all the trial and error and you want to get the playbook, be held accountable, that's what my one-to-one coaching's for. But you can also download my free course as well, Conversation Killer. That'll teach you how even the most introverted of guys can get started and get results from daytime cold approach. And I've got my most fuckable man course as well, which teaches you how you can become the most fuckable version of yourself internally and externally, how to rewire your entire internal belief system, and ultimately become the version of yourself who cold approach can actually work for. So if you enjoyed this live stream, drop it a like. This is off the cuff, unfiltered. I hope that you boys have enjoyed it. Drop it a like, consider subscribing, and I will speak to you boys in the next one. Mwah!